G'day. What can I do for you?
What, they make you do all the work yourself, eh?
Oh, it's a bit hard to get people to work out here, so far from town. So, couldn't interest you in a job, could I?
Well, thanks anyway, mate. But it's me chicky who's after a job.
Yeah, mister. I was...
Hey, what the... Say a word and I'll bash your brains out, mate. Okay? What? Just do as I say and you'll be as safe as houses.
Police?
Hurry up, come on.
All right, all right.
You're not still worried about Leanne, are you?
No. No, I'm not worried at all. She didn't say that she'd be home for dinner, did she?
No.
Well, then I'm not expecting her. I mean, the whole point of this exercise is to give her a normal home life. If we start laying curfews on her and so on, well, we could lose her entirely. You know, she's not such a bad kid. No, really, Meg, she's not. She just got off to such a rotten start. Imagine having Nolene Burke as your mother and the rest of that family. If she's been taught anything, she's been taught to do the wrong thing at the right time.
That's true anyway.
Meg, I know you think that I'm a fool, but I'm sure we can get through to her. Just needs a little patience. Okay, a lot of patience.
Well, at least the place wasn't looking like a pigsty when I came home this afternoon.
Yeah, there you go. That's something.
You ready for coffee?
I'd love some. Oh, it's my turn to do the washing up.
I know.
How's Greg?
Oh, he's up to his neck in work, but he seems to be coping fairly well. I think he's very pleased to have Wentworth off his hands. But I don't know how long we're going to manage without his services. Have any of the women complained to you?
What? What about?
Lack of regular medical attention.
Oh, yes, several, actually.
Look, if she's going to get into trouble, she will. There's nothing you can do about it.
Who?
Leanne! Look, you've done your best. You can't watch her all the time.
It's not that I don't trust her.
Oh, well, I don't. I'm certainly not going to get ulcers over it.
I'll get it. Jean Vernon here. Leanne, where have you been? What? Where? And what exactly is the charge? I see. Okay, I'll be there as soon as I can. Okay, set. I told you so.
What's the matter?
Leanne Burke has been picked up for attempted robbery with threat of violence.
Told you so.
You don't care, do you?
Jean, what are you talking about? What do you expect me to do? Shed a few tears because one of your little lambs has gone astray? Look, she's conned you. She's conned me too, for that matter. I've been telling you for weeks that girl's trouble.
All right, all right. I know you're right. I've got nobody to blame but myself. Well, we all make mistakes. Just some of us make them more often than others. If I get Leanne out on bail, can she come back here?
No.
Right.
Door! Come on, door. That was a brekkie bell.
What?
Don't you want any brekkie?
No, I'm not hungry.
Oh, come on, love. You gotta eat. Keep your strength up. Come on. Can't lie in bed all day. I'll help you up. Ooh. Oh, what is it? Is it your foot? Is it bad? Oh, let me have a look.
How is she?
Oh, she's bad. She's been moaning all night. And she's very flushed.
How's it feel, Doreen?
It hurts.
Give us a look. Oh, don't worry, love, I won't hurt you. That's a pretty neat job. Who fixed you up?
Mr. Fletcher. He put that purple stuff, you know, all over it.
That figures. He wouldn't have used any mercurochrome, would he be? Funny, though. Didn't he go all peculiar when he saw the blood? He must have done it with his eyes closed.
Yeah, maybe. Let's have a look now. Sorry, love. Careful. Oh. Well, whatever he did, it obviously wasn't good enough. You should have had a needle or something.
Oh, but I don't want no needle.
What sort of a needle?
Oh, I don't know. Antibiotics. Tetanus.
Oh, yeah. I've read about that. Your blood goes all poisoned and you swell up and you can't close your mouth.
Shut up, Lizzie.
I don't want to swell up, Bee.
Don't worry, love. We'll get the doctor to fix it.
Oh, that's not going to be easy. He doesn't even come here anymore.
When's the nurse due?
Today? But it might be too late then, mightn't it?
You're like a sledgehammer sometimes, Lizzie.
I didn't mean to frighten you, love. But if she's got that thing that you said that she might have, well, it might be, mightn't it?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't say she had tetanus.
But supposing she has.
Oh, will you shut up? Let me think.
Why aren't you at breakfast? What's going on?
That's what I'd like to know, Mr. Fletcher.
I want to see the governor.
What about?
About getting us a new doctor.
What do you think you can suggest that Mrs. Davidson hasn't already tried?
I just want to straighten her out about a few things. That, for example.
All right, I'll tell Mrs. Davidson when she comes in.
I want to talk to her.
I said all right. Now you two go to breakfast. I'll see what I can do here. Give me that.
Karen. Karen?
What? Sorry.
Well, it'll get cold.
Yes, sorry.
It really won't do, you know, Karen. You'll be like this for days. Brooding on the past isn't going to do anyone any good, you know, leave alone you. Far be it from me to tell you how to live your own life, but, well, it's high time that you made up your mind to face the world again. You've paid your debt to society, my dear. Now it's up to you to prove yourself worthy to be accepted back into the fold again. God helps those who help themselves, you know.
Yes.
Not that I'm shirking my responsibilities. Heaven knows I took you on and I'm responsible for you. And, well, I mean, I'm simply doing my duty. You don't owe me a thing, my dear, but you do owe it to your mother.
Yes, Mrs.
You'll
Wood.
carry on like this and you'll make yourself ill. Mark my words. More tea?
No, thanks. No. Look, I really have to be going.
Going where?
Well, I've got lectures at uni today.
But you haven't finished your breakfast.
Not very hungry.
Waste not, want not, you know.
Yeah. Well, really, I am running late. I have to go.
Very well, very well. When will you be home?
This afternoon.
Have you got your key?
Yes, thanks. Well, I'll see you later this afternoon, then.
All right. I'm writing to your mother today, you know.
I can understand your concern for Leanne Burke, but I'm not quite sure how you think I can help. Do you want me to break the news to Nolene?
Oh, no, that's just the point. I don't want Nolene to find out about it.
Well, I don't see how we can avoid that. She has a right to know.
Well, not exactly. Not legally, anyway. You see, Nolene was a minor when Leanne was born, and Leanne's grandmother is still her legal guardian, so strictly speaking, she's the only one who has to be notified.
I see. And has she been?
Yes. In fact, it was her suggestion to keep Nolene in the dark.
Why?
Well, Nolene's nearly completed her sentence, and Mrs. Burke feels that if she finds out about Leanne's arrest, she'll blame do-gooders, like myself, and go berserk. And as Mrs. Burke puts it, she could end up here for the rest of her life. I tend to think she's right.
Yes, she certainly has a point.
It shouldn't pose too much of a problem. It's too petty a crime to hit the television or radio news. If we could just censor the papers.
Why even the papers? Leanne's a minor. They can't mention her by name.
Yes, but they can tie her up with Colberg. And anybody who knows the background to the siege at Silver Heights will have no trouble in identifying her.
Very well. If you hurry, you'll catch Officer Barfield before she distributes the morning papers, and tell her to keep an eye on the afternoon press. I'll phone through and confirm your instructions.
Thank you.
And Jean, don't look so miserable. We all make mistakes.
Yes.
Yes, Mrs. Davidson. Right away, Mrs. Davidson? Yes, I'll tell her. Governor wants to see you, Meg. No hurry, she said, when you've finished there. You know, I'll never understand economics. They're always saying the prices have got to go up because wages have gone up. But wages only go up because prices have gone up.
It's inflation.
It's like the theory of relativity, I suppose.
Why?
Well, I've never understood that either. Oh, you wanted something sensitive, Miss Flynn?
Yes. Page 13. Here. And anything else referring to the same case. Also the afternoon papers. I'll go through them as well to make doubly sure.
Come in.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, Meg, sit down. I'm seeing B. Smith in a few minutes. She requested the interview. Mr. Fletcher filled me in on the reason, but I would have guessed anyway.
Oh?
Medical attention. Or the lack thereof.
Oh.
I'm getting absolutely no response from the department. At least no positive response. And the GPs around here just don't want to know about Wentworth.
They're spoiled. The women, I mean.
Yes, that's true, I suppose. But in a way, it makes it all the more difficult for them to adjust to Dr. Miller's absence. I was wondering if he realizes just how difficult it is.
Erica, I know what you're trying to say. And yes, Greg does realize the difficulties, but I don't think you'll be able to persuade him to come back.
I was rather hoping you might.
Look, I can't... Well, I won't bully him into something I don't think he wants to do. Besides, I think he's right.
I didn't mean to be so obvious, but it was worth a try.
I'm sorry. I'm just a bit edgy. Is that all?
Yes.
B. Smith to see you, Mrs. Davidson.
Bring her in.
Well, I'll be off then.
You reckon Bee'll do any good? I bet she's given the governor a full, eh?
Yeah, well, she bloody well better be. About time, too. I was crook yesterday and the day before. I don't feel so good this morning, either.
Maybe you're up the duff.
Very funny.
Yeah, I reckon it would be.
Listen, if I wasn't so close to getting out of here, I'd straighten out that ugly face of yours.
Yeah, you just have a go and they'll be carrying you out of here feet first.
Listen to her, will you? She knows bloody well she's in the same boat. Leaving us to join your half-wit family, aren't you, Nolene? Pity they're all in the nick. Won't be much of a homecoming for you, will it?
Hey, look at this!
Where'd you get that?
Just came. Late coming this morning, you know why? That's why.
Ah, good. What are they up to now?
Maybe your little Freddie's gone and nicked off up to Queensland with his tarp.
Nothing to do in here, ladies? Well, there's plenty of digging in the garden. Lizzie?
I'm on cleaning duty, Mrs. Jackson.
Well, then what are you doing here?
All right, I'm just going.
Ferguson, you work the dryers. Phyllis, get onto the press. Nolene can assist you.
Doreen isn't the only one that's sick, Mrs. Davidson. I mean, well, look at Molly.
What's the matter with Ferguson?
Well, despite what everyone says, she's not the malingering type. And she's been seedy for a couple of days now. And there are at least 2 others with really bad colds. Well, they could have the flu for all we know. Lil's coughing and wheezing all over the place. And what about Lizzie? What do we do if she has another attack?
The sister is quite capable of dealing with all of those problems, including emergency treatment for Lizzie if necessary.
But she's not on duty 24 hours a day.
Neither was Dr. Miller.
But that's not the point, is it? The point is, if we were anyone else anywhere else, we wouldn't even be expected to just make do with a nurse. Last time we were without a doctor, it took 7 months to get another one. Well, how long is it going to take this time?
I don't know. Not long, I hope. I'm doing my best to find a replacement for Dr. Miller, but it's not easy. The fact is, we were very lucky to have him in the first place. I doubt if we'll be as lucky again.
Well, couldn't we get a government bloke?
As I said, I'm trying.
But there must be rules about this sort of thing.
Yes, there are.
Then why can't somebody do something?
Because the requirements of the rules are already being fulfilled.
I don't believe it. You mean there is nothing to say that we should have a doctor if we need one?
The regulations state that you are to be provided with adequate medical care.
Adequate? That can mean any bloody thing.
It means that by requesting the department to replace Dr. Miller, I am asking that the inmates of Wentworth be given special consideration. Any irresponsible action could ruin the chances of this happening. Do you understand me?
Oh, yes, I understand. Mrs. Davidson, what about Doreen? Couldn't you get Doc Miller to have a look at her?
I thought the sister had treated Doreen.
She has.
And what did she say?
Well, she gave her an antitoxin and left instructions that she be kept warm and quiet. It's not a serious infection.
Oh, how the hell would you know?
Because I've seen worse.
There isn't anything Dr. Miller could do that the sister hasn't already done.
But that's not the same thing, is it? Doreen trusts Doc Miller, Mrs. Davidson. It'd make a big difference to her. I said I'd ask. Please.
Breathe in. Out. In. Excuse me. Dr. Miller speaking.
Dr. Miller, it's Erica Davidson here.
Yes, Mrs. Davidson, what can I do for you?
Doreen Anderson is back with us.
Oh, yes. How is she?
Not very well, I'm afraid. She's had an accident. Put a gardening fork through her foot.
An accident?
Yes, she was under sedation at the time and didn't know what she was doing.
I see.
Mr. Fletcher has cleaned and dressed the wound, but it still seems to have become infected. The girl is in pain.
Has the sister seen her?
Yes, she has, but I was hoping... That is, I wondered if it would be possible for you to come and see her yourself sometime this afternoon.
Mrs. Davidson, you know I can't do that.
Well, it's not just my idea, Dr. Miller. I've had a specific request from the women. I would regard it as a personal favor.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Davidson, I just don't have the time to spare. Look, the sister will look after Doreen. If she feels that you need to call in a doctor, well, then I'll think about it again. I'm sorry, I really do have to go now. Goodbye.
He's not coming?
He is unable to come.
You think you can get out of here and just take up where you left off? Forget it.
For a while, you'll feel like, well, a child leaving home for the first time.
Just being free will be enough.
You'll be on parole. You still gotta follow rules and check in. You're living in a dream world, kid.
Cope. That's the least of my worries. I can cope much better out there than I can in here.
It seems that when things start going wrong, you have a tendency to break under pressure.
I can cope much better out there than I can in here.
Light duties, eh? Don't call lugging bloody great bins up and down stairs and in and out of buildings light duties. It's all wrong in my condition. All this physical... Oh! Oh!
How's your foot?
I don't know. Can't feel it.
It's still there, love. The doc won't come. I asked, especially for you.
They
I want to go to the loo.
Yeah, sure, right, come on. We'll give you a hand, Money. Careful. Here we are. There's a good. Up you come. Now, wait on me. There's the way we go. Oh, put it down. All right, that's it. I don't care what the bloody governor says. We're not sitting on our backsides a minute longer. Stay with her and make sure she's all right. I'm going to spread the word. I'll fill you in later.
B. Count me out.
What?
Look, I've only got a little time to go. If I get mixed up in any of your harebrained schemes now, I'm never going to get out of here.
Now, you listen. We're all in this, whether we like it or not. And it's not the sort of thing that one person can do on their own. And if you want to get out of here at all, you better back us up. Understand?
Hey, Nolene, is it true that all your family's inside?
No, it is not.
No? Well, who isn't?
What's it to you?
Oh, I just heard a bit of news that I thought you might like to know about.
What news?
What's it worth?
Listen, you old ratbag, if you got any news, you just let me know what...
Listen. As of now, we're on a hunger strike, and we're staying on it until the screws can get their act together and provide us with adequate medical care.
What's that?
Look, Phil, get out and spread the word around the building. You get out to the garden, Lizzie, let them know what's going on outside. Make sure they understand that this is a strike and we're all in it together. With any luck, we should end up in the papers and everything. And we should come out of this smelling like daisies if we handle it properly. So I don't want any violence, not unless I give the signal.
What's the signal?
You'll know it when I give it, if I give it. And until then, I don't want any messing around.
Hunger strike.
Are you making an objection?
No, no objections. You can do what you like.
You're in this too, Nolene.
No, not me. I'm getting out in 2 days. I'm not going on no hunger strike. Need to build myself up. And you needn't think you can hurry me into it either, because you can't. I can last the distance.
Chicken! Don't worry, I can fix her. I've got a little something here that Nolene might like to know about. I don't think she'll be so sweet on the screws when she reads that, eh, Pete?
I reckon you're right, Lizzie.
Karen! Hey, Karen! Hi. Long time no see. Where have you been? All around. How are you? You know, the same. Only worse. I've got 2 toot papers and an essay all due on the same day. How'd you manage that? I didn't. That's the trouble. I mean, how'd you manage to get yourself into such a mess? I've never been big on organisation. Hey, there's Melinda Cross. Boy, do you hear what happened to her? Incredible.
Hi, Suze. Karen, terrific to see you again. Are you paroled yet? I was just telling Helen what an amazing place Wentworth is. Oh, Karen will back me up. She's been in there for ages. Pity we didn't share a cell, eh? Bet you could tell a few stories. Karen! Sorry I blew it. I just didn't realise you felt that way about Wentworth.
How did you expect me to feel? It was all right for you. You were only there 5 minutes.
I said I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay. I guess I overreacted.
You coming back? We'll at least come to the library cafe and have a coffee.
I couldn't, Melinda, not just yet. You go. I'll see you later.
We could meet at the commercial for a drink. All the guys drink there.
I don't think so.
Oh, come on. You've got to break out sometime.
The lady I'm staying with wouldn't approve.
Well, so what? You're over 18, aren't you?
Oh, all right. But only for a little while.
Great. I'll meet you in the lounge at 7:30. Oh, there's George. See ya.
Bye.
What's going on? Nothing yet. But it feels like the lull before the storm.
Where have you been, Burke?
To the can, Miss Bennett.
What's going on, Smith? No one's eating till I see the governor.
This is a prison, not a restaurant. You'll eat what's put in front of you or go without.
Then we'll go without. We're not complaining about the grub, but no one is eating until I talk to the governor.
Well, you'll have a long wait. Suit yourselves.
What do you think you're doing?
Eating my dinner. What does it look like?
Well, I'm surprised you're on their side, especially since they just put your kid inside.
Ah, pull the other one, will you? You have to do better than that, Smith.
You would have read papers.
Ah, we'll to snatch. That's enough of that, Smith.
She telling the truth, Miss Bennett? You crummy bitch. Both of you!
There's the way for a signal. My signal, not what that half-wit does. Go and tell Mrs. Davidson I'll handle things this end. And sound the alarm. Ring Jim Fletcher.
Look, come on, Bree, let's go back to ourselves. We've made our point.
Don't be so bloody weak. We haven't made any point. Doreen's still the same, isn't she? And you pack of morons, throwing things around. Well, I suppose we'll make the best of it. It'll force me to doing something. Come on, we'll barricade ourselves in. Bring those chairs and tables over here.
What's going on? There's a riot in the dining room.
What do you mean?
B. Smith found out about the Burke girl. She promptly told Nolene, who went berserk. Started to throw food, everything. The others followed suit.
How did she find out this time?
I suppose it's ruined Arlene's parole.
Smith was demanding to see you long before this. The women were refusing to eat.
Why?
Because of Doreen.
Oh, I've been expecting something like this. Meg, I don't like to ask, but could you use your influence with Dr. Miller? Persuade him to take a look at Doreen. Look, I've already tried, and he won't listen to me. If things get out of hand, a lot of people could get hurt.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
Well, use the phone in my office. I'll be in the dining room.
What do we do now, B?
Sit and wait.
Do you reckon this is going to get us a new doctor?
Oh, it might. Won't do me any good, though.
Why not?
I reckon this will be my last go. After this little lot, they'll transfer me for sure.
Oh, but that's not fair. We're all in this together. They can't just pick on you, love.
You reckon?
But this is an emergency, Greg. There's no one else we can get. Please. Look, you know I wouldn't ask you if there were any other way.
If I come this time, it's positively the last, and I mean it.
I know. Look, I don't know how bad Doreen is, but just your being here will reduce a lot of pressure, believe me.
That's hardly my job. All right, I'll be around as soon as possible. But don't you do anything foolish. You know how dangerous they can be.
Don't worry about me. I'm the least likely to get hurt.
Hi, Karen. There you are. Look, would you mind giving me a hand, dear? If you wouldn't mind polishing those glasses over there with a tea towel, would you? Winnie Robertson's coming to tea. She's a perfectly marvellous woman, but very particular. You could eat off her floor. So I want everything to be nice. Winnie runs the social services committee at the church. Oh, Karen, look, don't leave your books all over the place, my dear. I want things to be tidy. Right?
Yes, I'm sorry.
All right.
Look, I won't be home for tea tonight. I've got to meet some friends from the uni.
But you've been there all day, and I've already made the tea.
Yes, I know. I said I'm sorry. Anyway, you'd enjoy talking to your friend better without me hanging around.
Oh, look, she's coming specially to talk to you, Karen. She's interested in rehabilitation, you see. As a matter of fact, she's had some very great success with some very difficult cases. No, you like her. She's a very popular woman.
But I've made other arrangements.
Well, you'll just have to change them then, won't you? This is no hotel, you know, you can just come in and out of without so much as a buy your leave. You could have told me that you wouldn't be here for tea. But I am responsible for you, you know, Karen. And I've made these arrangements specially for you. It'll be nice for you to meet some decent people.
But just this morning you told me I should get out more.
That's well, Karen, you could stay in just for one night. Ring them and put them off.
I don't know how to contact them, honestly.
Why were you going, then?
To the Commercial. It's a pub near the uni.
Oh, a pub, Karen. How could you? Oh, look, that'll be her. Now, look, not a word about that pub, right?
Right.
Coming! Oh, Winnie, come in. Go right in, will you?
Yes.
Winnie, this is Karen, the girl I was telling you about. And Karen, this is Miss Robertson.
Good evening.
But can we be sure? Things are not always as simple as they seem, are they, Karen?
I think I'll put these away.
You sit down, Winnie, will you?
Oh, yes, thank you.
Would you like a sherry, Winnie? I don't normally take one on a weeknight, but, well, for special occasions it's rather different.
No, not for me, but you go ahead.
You sure you don't mind?
Not at all.
Right, I'll just have a little one, then. Oh, I do hope you can help Karen, you know, Winnie. She's had such a terrible time of it. First she was married to a perfectly beastly man who used to beat her. And then I suppose he must have made her rather crazy because, well, you know, just imagine being thrown into that ghastly prison, having to mix with those awful types. You know, morals, perverts. Oh, can you imagine? And she's not that strong, you know. Her mother lives in Queensland, very good Catholic. And she asked me.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry I can't stay to talk to you, but I've made some arrangements and I really have to go. It was lovely to meet you. Bye.
Oh, Will.
Well, of all the nerve.
Well, really.
You see what I had to put up with?
What's a nice girl like you drinking in a place like this?
Harvey Wallbangers.
Sounds like fun.
Actually, it's a cocktail.
Go on.
They're very expensive.
I can afford it.
Oh, this is a friend of mine.
Oh. No. Never mind. Next time, perhaps.
Who's that? Just some creep on the make. What do you want to drink? White wine, I think. Let's sit over there.
I know she means well, but I just can't go on living there. She's making everything so much worse. If I could afford it, I'd move out and find a flat of my own.
Hey, why don't you move in with me? Well, my father pays rent, so you'd only have to pay for food and grog.
Oh, that'd be great. But what would your father think?
Oh, he'd love it. He thinks I'm unsafe by myself.
Mrs. Whitten would hate it. Although I could say that she'd been a great help, helping me get settled in and all. That'd probably salve her ego. I don't think she likes having me there anyway. The trouble is, my parole. We're not even supposed to be seen having a drink together, let alone sharing the same place.
Oh, don't be so negative, Karen. Now, you only need permission from your parole officer, and Jean's a pushover. She'll understand. Besides, you're a star pupil. Well, tell her it'll be convenient to uni.
Yeah. Right. Well, I think I'll go and see Jean right now. Do you want to come with me?
Oh, sorry, I can't. I've got an appointment with my doctor at evening surgery. It's that dishy doc of yours from the prison. He's got rooms quite close, didn't you know?
No, I didn't know. Well, I'm going to go and see Jean. I didn't think I could stand the suspense of waiting until tomorrow.
Right. I'll see you in the morning. Move in any time.
Well, just what's going on?
This is an official complaint about the lack of medical attention. We've got a lot of claims. 1, injuries must be treated by qualified medical staff. Doreen could lose that foot from gangrene. 2, constant medical supervision is required to prevent malnutrition and food poisoning.
That's telling him, V.
Shut up. 3, prisoners with dicey conditions must have access to competent medical staff at all times. We could all die of the plague in here, and we're not moving until something's done about the unhealthy climate of this prison.
I can sympathize with your concern about medical services, but as you know, the department has been notified. We are waiting for them to act.
Well, we're not going to budge until they do.
I shall get a doctor to Doreen immediately if you agree to go straight back to your cells.
Right, we've got them now, girls. But not just any doctor will do. We want Dr. Miller. Right, girls?
Yes.
Dr. Miller.
Right.
And if I get him, you'll go back to your cells?
Yes.
Then you'd better go. He's treating her now.
Oh, now pull the other one.
I am not in the habit of lying.
I reckon she's on the level. She's always been straight before.
You'll have to prove it.
I am not going to take him away from his consultation to drag him to this shouting match. If you like, I shall take you to him. But the others must go back to their cells.
Oh, no way.
They just want to get their hands on you.
Oh, don't go, Bea. We wouldn't know what to do without you. The others will go back to their cells if you take me to the dock and then bring me back here. Agreed?
Agreed.
Oh, don't go, Bea. It's a trap. Make him come to us. But he can't leave Doreen. And like you said, Davo's always been on the level before. You've got a deal.
Very clever. I'll have her taken straight to solitary.
You will do exactly as I promised.
You're not going to let her get away with this. It's blackmail.
I am not going to break my word. You will escort her to the surgery and then to my office.
All right, you lot sit tight till I get back. Monty, you're in charge, and don't let anyone in.
You sure started something this time, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, blame me. It's all right until Queen Bitch gave it to me about Leanne like that. She sure buggered things up.
Yeah, well, it hasn't done much for my parole either. We're all in it now.
Who's going to look after Mum and the kids? I could kill her for this.
Now, hang on a second. You started it all.
Oh, all I did was do me block. Then she's got to go and big note herself.
Yeah, well, I don't reckon she meant that. But listen, if we can persuade the others to go quietly back to their cells, we'll be in the clear.
Yeah, and then all the screws will put all the blame on her.
Now, come on, Doc. You saw what happened. Doreen nearly lost her foot from gangrene. We just can't do without you. And what's your Hippocratic oath about anyway?
Now, let's not exaggerate. Doreen's foot was infected. It wasn't gangrenous. I now have another community of patients to look after who are just as dependent upon me as you ever were. And if the Hippocratic Oath means that I have to treat everyone in the world, doctors would have been extinct years ago.
Now, what about us?
Look, I do have my own problems. I've done my time here. Surely you can appreciate that. It's up to the authorities to replace me.
Can't stick it, eh, Doc? Interferes with your sex life. Yeah, I suppose you've got a point there.
It won't work, Bea. I'm running late for evening surgery. Just make sure Doreen keeps taking those antibiotics. Goodbye for the last time.
Oh, after you. What's the state of the nation?
B. Smith has the women barricaded in the dining room till they get a resident doctor. And don't look at me, my practice is already overflowing.
Something's got to be done about that woman. She's getting too big for her boots.
Yeah, too much telly. She thinks she's Bob Hawke, hardline negotiator for the oppressed, all out for Medibank.
Well, we'll soon see about that.
Well, he's gone. Now what are you going to do?
Well, there's nothing I can do. But you must be convinced by now that Doreen will be all right.
Look, don't think you're going to slide out of it like that. What's going to happen next time? He won't come back.
It's in the hands of the authorities. I agree, we need a medical practitioner. But at the moment, my hands are tied.
Well, you better do something about it and soon, because we're not going to leave that dining room until we get a doc permanent.
I can't do anything now, Smith. In the morning...
Look, I've heard all of this before, and we're not going to budge until our demands are met.
Take Smith back to the dining room, Miss Bennett.
Oh,
immediately, Miss Bennett.
Mrs. Jackson? What is it, Ferguson? Mrs. Jackson, we want to make a deal with you. Well, I'm not going to bargain with you. Come on out of there and go back to your cells. Yeah, well, that's just what we're going to do.
But we're going to wait for Bea.
She put me in charge, didn't she?
Dismantle the barriers and I'll open the security doors.
Oh, you can't do that. You'll ruin everything. What about Doreen?
She'll be okay. We'll do just that if you promise to tell the parole board that I broke this up.
And I didn't want no part of it.
You've got to wait for Bea.
I'm not scared of her.
But we'll all cop it.
Yeah, what do you think's going to happen now? Breaking it up is the only way.
What about Doreen?
Now, look, she'll be okay. You heard. The crack's with her now. Now, come on, let's clear these tables away.
Well, 'cause 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 'cause
Pretty decent for a screw. But you wouldn't have sent me back.
I certainly wouldn't. You'd be in solitary right now if I had my way.
Everything's under control now. Where are you taking that prisoner?
To the dining room.
Put her into solitary.
My instructions are that
Are you questioning the orders of a senior officer, Miss Bennett?
Certainly not, Mr. Fletcher. Come along, Smith.
Hold on, you can't do this to me. I was promised.
Let's go.
Come on, oh, teach me to trust a screw. I demand to see the governor.
Get your hands off me!
All right, I'm coming. Oh, Karen.
Hi.
Come in. I thought you were the taxi truck.
Don't tell me you're moving again.
I was only here between flats. But sit down. I'm moving to a more permanent one now.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about.
About me moving?
No, me moving. I know Mrs. Whitten means well, but I just can't stay there any longer. I mean, she's been hitting me with all this nagging and Bible bashing.
Well, I'll see what I can do, but it's not easy to find suitable accommodation these days.
But I've already found it. I can move in with Melinda Cross.
You think that's wise?
Well, I know I shouldn't consort with an ex-prisoner, but... Well, I thought surely you could get permission.
That's not really the problem. Melinda was only on remand. She's not strictly an ex-prisoner, so it wouldn't have to go to the board. But as your parole officer, I'd have to authorize the change of abode.
Oh, you will, won't you? Look, to a certain extent, Melinda understands my problem because she's been through it herself, and her father pays the rent, so all I'd have to do would be to chip in for expenses. It's close to the uni for study, and, well, it'd save a lot on fares.
All right, I'm convinced. You can give it a go.
Thank you.
Now look what you've done. Bees in the pound because of you.
Quit squealing, you old lush!
You betrayed us to the screws. We had 'em licked till you turned stool pigeon.
Shut up! You give yourself a heart attack, and there's no doctor.
Jeez, she's right. I'd better watch it. No doctor, no dinner, and I haven't even got a fag.
So everything's now back to normal and very little damage done.
That's fairly satisfactory. However, it was a very serious breach of discipline for you to countermand my orders.
Well, Smith would have been put into solitary once the disturbance was put down anyway.
Perhaps. But I had promised she would be returned to the others in the dining room.
They'd already dispersed. There was no point in taking her back there.
It seemed logical to me.
You may not understand this, but I do not break my word. And my authority within this prison rests as much on trust as it does on discipline. Is that quite clear?
Yes.
Very.
B. Smith will remain in solitary until the visiting justice can hear her case. Mrs. Jackson, you will mention Monica Ferguson's assistance when her case comes up before the parole board.
Yes, Mrs. Davidson.
In view of her later assistance, I think we can allow Nolene Burke to be released as planned. Though I suspect it's not the last we've seen of her.
Next, please.
Well, I hope it was worth waiting for.
Sorry about the delay. I was called away to an emergency. How do you feel?
I have morning, afternoon, and night sickness. I can't even drink anything without running to the loo. How do you think I feel? Have you made the appointment?
Well, there's something we have to talk about first. Sit down.
You're not exactly showing me your best manner.
It's not exactly a pleasant subject. About the termination of your pregnancy.
There's nothing to talk about. I've made up my mind. I want it done, and quickly.
Well, I'm afraid it's not that simple. I've been making some inquiries into the legal position.
You have no right to discuss my case.
A doctor has to be aware of the law. Ignorance is no excuse, and negligence is a serious charge. There's a lot of it about lately.
So make sure you get me a competent doctor.
The point is this. Your defense rested largely on your desire to care for your child, to provide it with a father and financial backing. If you voluntarily terminate your pregnancy, then your whole defense was a pack of lies.
Well, they aren't likely to prove it. Besides, I can't be tried for the same crime twice.
No, but you can be accused of perjury. Your sentence for your original crime is still in suspension. Have that abortion, and you'll almost certainly end up in jail.
He used to give me roses. I wish he could again. but that was on the outside. And things were different then.